My name is Mark Booth. I am the Director of Take Flight Wildlife Education in Indianapolis, Indiana. Take Flight Wildlife Education is all about getting people turned on to how amazingly cool nature is. We use live animals for all of the programs. Our specialty is birds of prey. So we use live raptors, hawks, falcons, owls, take them to places so people can see them up close, teach them about the natural history of the animals and why they're important to our ecosystems. I've had a lifelong interest in teaching people about these things. I started professionally way back in high school as a nature director at a Cub Scout day camp. I took my own snake and a pet pigeon and usually a rat or a guinea pig and taught the kids basics about how to learn about animal adaptations and what made them what they are. Basically, it's all I've ever done. I don't know anything about cars or computers, but I know a lot about critters. When I do my shows, I have three primary focuses. The first thing we do is just talk about natural history, help people have a better understanding about what they're looking at, the adaptations the animals have, what makes them exciting and fun. That's the first step into getting people to understand nature, is just to figure out what something is. Then we talk about our relationships with those animals, both through history and science. You know, we are connected through them in many different ways. And finally, the biggest and most important point I make with any age group, even little kids can understand this, is that we are actually part of nature. We rely on the same healthy ecosystems that any other animal needs. We understand biodiversity, we look at things that are living around us, because if we don't, it's a less healthy place. And we rely on a healthy place just like they do. The greater the biodiversity, the healthier the ecosystem. It's a very simple, basic concept that nobody seems to understand. We worry about jobs, we worry about economy growth, and we don't worry about the environment. We put that off until later. But we rely on healthy ecosystems for our very existence. So until we understand what keeps an ecosystem healthy, anything else is not really as important. We have to have biodiversity because biodiversity is a representation of what allows us to survive on this planet. This is one of the animals we use in our educational programs. This is a great horned owl. These birds are relatively common throughout North America. Here in Indiana, it's almost as common as the red-tailed hawk. You just hardly ever see them because they're generally nocturnal and, of course, beautifully camouflaged. I think she's gorgeous up close. This particular bird came from the Muncie area. She was an orphan. The whole tree where the nest had been in was blown down in the storm. All the babies were dead except her. The people who found her were trying to be nice. They just didn't know better. They took a baby owl home, tried to hand raise it. The problem with that is, if you don't raise them just right, they can become imprinted on human beings. So this bird has no physical injuries, but psychologically, physiologically even, she thinks of herself as a human being. All of these birds were injured or orphaned in the wild, cannot survive on their own. We have a special federal license that allows us to have these birds just to show them to people. This is one of the animals that's actually pair bonded with me. I'm the only one that can touch her. Being a nighttime hunter, she has amazing adaptations. Huge eyes to pick up any light, a wide flat face, her ears in the front that helps her hear better, and soft feathers for silent flight. It's truly an amazing hunting animal. Taking care of a bird of prey probably doesn't require any more time than your dog. But you have to remember, your dog, being part of your family, is a constant thing. Well, the birds are the same sort of thing. It's just completely alien to what most people are used to. You know, in the morning, you get a package of, frozen mice out of the freezer to thaw out. Because we're feeding predators, they have to have meat to eat. Fortunately, people have been hunting with birds of prey for thousands of years as falconers. So we have a really good idea about how to keep them safe and healthy. The reason we worry about endangered species is because every time an endangered animal or plant becomes extinct and gone forever, that means the overall planetary biodiversity is less than it was before. That means it's less healthy. That's a problem because we live here. And that's why we need to care about this kind of stuff. It's practical. If 1 out of 100 kids becomes more interested in nature, then I've done my job. And I know that I've won. A few years back, I was doing a show at the Indianapolis Zoo. After the show, a mom brought her son up. He was getting ready to go to college, and she told me that because of my show, he had decided to go into wildlife biology to study. And that's what he decided to go into because of seeing a hawk fly over his head. That's cool.